Hello, all. We're back and we're ready for this mission.
All right, John,
Great.
you ready with some intel questions?
Yeah, I think we're going to go 0 to 2 because I have 2 intel. That means I ask 3 questions. And we're going to start off with classic question of what are 2 approaches we could use here on this mission?
Very good question. This basically says, oh, well, Mr. GM, if you've designed a terrible puzzle, what do you think we're supposed to do? And I think that we're going to talk about like the 2 sort of like plausible ways, right? So real quick, just so that everyone understands the scenario, in case you haven't read the little mission thing in chat. This Blighter has apparently decided to make something to wreck the walls of Callisto. Now, this something is being cooked in these giant pressurized, if you want to think like steam vats for like cooking chemicals. There's like a metal like a steel drum with like pipes and stuff running around it, and this thing was like erected in the middle of the field, outside of any sort of potential range of the walls, right? So like the people in the walls can't like hammer it with catapults or something like that. It's a little ways back, but yeah, they're cooking up some horrific chemical. And while I'm describing this, just cut away to Blighter going cut back, and essentially what they're doing is they seem to be like pouring it into these drums, and they're taking these drums like cannonballs. They're rolling them towards the battlefield, and they have several horrors, including one that you've seen before. Mr. Coonface is back with the giant arms, right? And as a matter of fact, like while you're watching this, you realize that the purpose of this is they're testing ranges, right? Like they're moving the platforms that the horrors stand on. And so the Mr. Coneface is actually their like example target. You get the sense that he's stronger and or built more correctly for this particular task. So if you recall, he has these like over large arms that have like multiple bodies like in them. And when they hand him a barrel, he does this thing where he's like standing on his podium and he like swings it down below like where the end of his legs would be, right? Like or its legs. And it swings it up and then does this like shot put rotation where it like swings it back, spins around, and then hurls it, and it goes arcing, and it sort of hits the base of the wall, and there's this horrific sizzling, and you realize that the burn marks are from some sort of like awful organic acid. So clearly, being the commander, you're like, yes, what we should do is destroy their new siege technology because it's going to take a long time to rebuild. That sounds like a plan. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to shift their army out of position to open a gap in a flank so that the Legion can beeline straight out of the forest and towards the side gate, right? So this is the plan, and sort of, I'll give you a couple of approaches. I'm going to give you 2 basic ones, and then like one maybe like unorthodox one, and then you folks can come up with a 4th. Like the Kobayashi Maru, you are not limited to 2 choices. But Zora comes up with a plan, and Zora's like, look, I'm gonna tell you true, Blighter's in that mess. And she's like, you're not gonna be able to face her. That's my job, don't worry about it. And so she tells you that what she's gonna do is she's going to strike into that camp, but what she's going to do is going to disrupt the mist, and there is enough of a wind that it's gonna shift that gap. And if you ride through the gap, you should be able to line it up with the machinery and get there before the horrific mists eat away your flesh or whatever it is that they do. Corruption. And that's great. And then once you blow it up, you just have to figure out how to get to Callisto. That's on you. The 2 other possible approaches is, one is you could try and work with your alchemists to come up with a solution that'll allow you to like basically go in like under the cover of night. You could try for like a speed run, sort of like whenever the positioning is right, that you can kind of like navigate past the like giant walls of green fog, which could work. Like you could get enough like breathable substance or something to like protect you like long enough to like make a mad dash towards it. but anything that slows you down is probably also going to kill you. Final plan. You could try and like disrupt their lines or attack something that's like approaching this area in a fashion that would like force them to react, to move, to like reinforce their supply lines and other things like that. Because from observation, you realize that they don't need food because they don't eat. But what they do need is fresh bodies, and you're not sure 100% what they're making with them, probably more undead, but they do seem to get like cartloads in periodically. So like trying to stymie their supply lines, which are pretty well guarded though, could be an avenue to force them to like sort of displace. But that might take more time, which could be tricky.
Josh, am I hearing this right? That it's blow up their cannon, sneak in under the fog with alchemical tools, or cut off their supply lines?
Well, it's sneaking in under the fog with alchemical tools to blow up their cannon.
Oh, I see. Yes. So these are all avenues. Use Zora, use alchemical tools, or cut off their supply line to blow up their cannon. Got it.
That is correct.
We have a cannon, by the way. We have a siege engine now. So we have I mean, it's not.
But you've had scorpions for a while now.
Yeah, we have a scorpion as well. It's not a siege. Yes, we have these things.
Yeah, we have some tools that are disposable.
We also have steam engines. Just saying. If we want to go fast, that was what they were designed for.
Huh.
Technically, no. They were designed to carry goods reliably without need for horses. They are not designed to go fast. You're not going to win Formula One races in these things.
No, but we can move a lot.
Horses.
We can move a lot of stuff. We can move the Legion is the important part.
Yes.
And we can do it on a thing that doesn't need to touch the ground, right? The ground's all covered in pollutants and stuff like that.
Yeah, it doesn't need to breathe. Horses do.
Need to breathe, yeah. And it can carry not fast, but it can carry the Legion. So throwing that out there.
It's particularly good for carrying, say, laborers, some of which may be in their 70s and have bad hips.
We're not good at.
You sleep on one bad bed, you're out of
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, so that's your answer to your question, John. You got any more for me?
I have two more questions. I'm going to go to the the 2 intel question, because you mentioned cone face. Is that right?
Oh yeah, cone face.
He seems like a big deal.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that he might be encountered on this mission.
He's right over there. You're 100% certain he's in the theater. You're not 100% certain that you need to fight him. This is not the assault. The assault target is the factory, what produces the wall breaching fluid.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, if you kill Coneface, he is their best thrower. If you put some siege weapons inside the keep, it might take them a while to reconstruct a monstrosity that could hurl those things more efficiently.
Right. So I guess in that vein, I'm going to ask, what is a weakness of Coneface?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. So the last time they couldn't beat it, they just buried it. They literally dropped a building on it, and then they ran away. It's fine. It's been fixed. But the thing about it is that it's extremely deadly in very specific range groupings. So it's got fists the size of anchors, and it's got very large, lengthy gorilla arms, right? But you start figuring out that this thing is designed as a climber, right? So like it can go over walls, and it is also designed as a thrower, right? But its range is in that radius of death around it, where the majority of its like fists and stuff are. Its feet are not designed for quick movement, and if you can get close enough to it, you can probably actually have the advantage, right? So like if you're fighting it at long to medium distance, it's going to have even more superiority in combat. But once you breach its defense, it's like getting inside a shield, right? Like it's super beefy. It can't scratch its back because it's got muscles, and by muscles I mean people. So yeah, like it's designed. It's very good at what it does. It is exceptional at what it does. But like if you charge it, it can throw things at you at lethal velocity, but once you're inside its like little death zone, you're actually at an advantage.
So if we sneak up behind it, we
Let me take it out.
get on his back, it's going to lose its potency, right? Or its scale, like, because horrors have scale because they're really big and they can squish you.
Okay. So that leaves just a one intel question.
Does that seem appropriate? Is that workable?
That's totally fair.
Okay,
that tells me that if we do attempt to take that thing on, that we should bring someone who's good in close-up fighting. Cool. The last thing I have for you is, would you consider this camp / arrangement for the place that we're going to blow stuff up at? Would you consider that a location for the purposes of the question, what resources or benefits might we find at a specific location? And it's a slight reappropriation of the question, but...
Okay, everybody watching this right now, whether you're on YouTube, this is how you do fictional positions. And being one of the rules of the game is that I have to be a fan of the players here. So I might shake my fist and say, "Oh, it's so clever, good fictional position, the John." But I'm gonna have to say, yes, of course, I will answer these questions. So let's talk about this place. I'm gonna give you a couple of props. One of the alchemists will tell you that they don't know how to open the contraption that Blighter has made because, like, it's not obvious from this distance. But they can make something that's going to react explosively with acid. So that's the thing they could do. So that very contraption can become a tool that you can use in self-destruction.
Right.
Other things, yeah, you could find weapons, armor, partially constructed siege weapons that'll give Sean some free text on siege weapon crafting. You tell me, like, let's work together. I was not prepared for this question, so I'm willing to take some inputs.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that there's potentially intelligence that
yeah, I'll tell you what. Yeah, if you can get some people sneaking about and looking at some stuff, you can definitely find out what Blighter's up to. You might be able to find out how this whole fog of destruction shows up and that kind of thing.
Cool.
So yeah.
All right. Yeah, we're definitely that explosive reactant is definitely a thing that we'll ask more about, but we can establish that later.
Yeah.
This is great for flashbacks. By the way, there's a special rule for this mission. Again, if you read the little mission brief with ! mission in our chat, you'll see that you get +1D if you have an alchemist, because alchemists can prepare some stuff that you can use on this mission. It's a great mission to do some flashbacks for that.
Nice. Well, we definitely do, and we definitely will. Before we go on the mission, the quartermaster is going to appear to the commander. Presumably, the commander discusses these sort of things with the marshal and the quartermaster, as well as like what we need for the mission, what the plan is, all that stuff. Quartermaster comes in with like two of the younger laborers dragging this big old trunk, and the quartermaster like opens, like they set it down. The quartermaster opens a trunk. Inside it, there's like a long chest. Opens the chest. Inside it, like puts on like heavy, like workman gloves, sure, and pulls out this golden spear, and is like, "Ooh. If you're sending Zora to go kill the Blighter, let's have her do it right."
Oh my goodness!
And she's been asking for a long time for one of these artifacts. And like, assuming you shared that, like, Zora has said, "I'll go after Blighter," or we know, right?
So why not the hammer?
Because he's using the hammer.
Because the hammer is really good at destroying things, and that's what we should send our specialists in to wreck their
siege weapon?
Direct their siege weapon. The spear is supposedly really good at just killing things, and that's what I want her to do.
So you're going to send both?
Yeah.
Cool.
The marshal is like staring at the quartermaster. You're doing what now?
I mean...
No. I'm just surprised. You're usually so frugal.
Resourceful.
I was being nice and saying frugal.
Poor quartermasters always never get the reputation for being generous.
No, well, I mean, I definitely am not. That would not be an earned reputation at all. But he's like, my point is, if we're going to assault them, we might as well assault them. Zora put a hurting on Render last time they fought, and she didn't have a magical artifact spear.
I am not complaining.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
If Render's hurt and Blighter is in full force, and we can hurt or possibly even slay Blighter. From what we see in Avon Cigar, that's probably not possible. But slow her down. There's no fires of Kabbalah for her to bathe in.
Yeah, I think it's a smart play.
Then I guess we
Good
should
luck
send
getting
our
it back
best.
from her after she returns, but
That's a tomorrow problem.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, unless you want to equip it, never mind. The quartermaster was like about to like relinquish control of it. He's like, "Wait, I'm the quartermaster. I don't relinquish.
No.
Never mind." No one else gets to say this. He's like, "I just need you to do one thing for me," and he kind of looks between the marshal and the quartermaster to see which one of you will be up for this.
I'm not volunteering until you tell me what it is. I learned that lesson early in my career.
This is the Legion.
I need one of you to order me to do it.
Oh.
Wait, I get to boss you around?
Wait a minute.
Don't get any ideas, Marshall.
You need someone else to take responsibility for the decision over what materials get used.
I knew this would go to your heads.
Not so much going to our head, so much as, I figured that if anyone could do their duty to the Legion without prompting, it would be you.
I do my duty to the Legion 7 times a day. I'm the reason why we're all eating.
More fiber.
Those are Rhea.
And he's been holding the spear like it's toxic, right? Like it could hurt him, and he just like sets it down. He's like, pulls off a glove. It's like, I'm asking you for a favor.
Quartermaster, I order you to give our chosen this weapon so that she may do her best to slay Blighter in the field.
Thank you, Commander. I will do as you say, begrudgingly.
And then I think
I don't have to say I'm choosing it. Well,
we'll turn to the Lord Keeper and be like, please let the record show
The quartermaster
Master begrudgingly and under protest accepted this command.
I think there's a hilarious moment where you probably have a rehearsed speech and you're about to go give this spear to Zora. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Awesome. So you show up and you're going to start your speech. How does it start?
Chosen at the formal behest of our commander.
She's like putting on armor.
And the consensus of the general command staff, myself a notable objector, we wish to send you into battle armed.
I am armed. She draws her sword and it ignites.
Armed with something else.
She sees what you're holding, right? And she
Yeah.
puts one hand on your shoulder and she says, using that will only distract me. He will fight me for it. You should give it to your best warrior. They should stand at my side.
Who will fight you for it? She said he will fight me for it?
Yeah, she points at the spear and she says, the hunter. Or actually, no, she would never say that. She points at the spear and she says, the Cinder King. The spear belongs to a broken. I cannot take it from him. It will only distract me on the battlefield. Trust my blade.
Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense anyway. You're right. Absolutely. Foolish idea the commander had.
She says,
You
farmer.
Yes,
I
warrior.
could use the hammer though.
Yeah.
But you get the sense, you're like, wait. Okay, I think she's making a joke.
Exactly. I
You're
think
not 100% sure because she's like super good at deadpan.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely get like something in your gut says that this may be like an actual joke Zora is making.
Yeah. I think he walks away like he kind of keeps looking over his shoulder, like trying to figure out if like she's gonna crack a smile or not. And I know if she never does, he's just like crazy.
I'm coming back, is all she says.
All right, cool. Well, yeah. The spear and the hammer are going out, but not with the chosen. That's me. Marshall, you want to pick who's going?
So normally I would send a sniper and a heavy on an assault mission.
Sure, that's smart.
But if we're sending out the spear and the hammer,
I mean, a heavy with a hammer on the. You have two heavies.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. That's kind of my point.
Yeah, we have two heavies. We have two scouts. We have the medic can go with any can go in addition. We also have two soldiers with grenadier now. So we have two different people with explosives.
Yeah.
Oh,
dear Lord.
Both Flavia, who we knew, and the person I was just playing, Lenka.
Yeah. So the marshal does summon Marinan Petrovich, Grey Wafting Smoke, Flavia, Lenka, and Coral Drifting Reef to the structure. And she stands up and she looks at them and she says, "Suit up, you're going out."
I think there's been a lot of rumors in camp. So one hand shoots up. You can decide who it is. I don't know.
I think it should be Marinan Petrovich because he's the only one who hasn't
Red.
He is the one who's been with the other.
He says, Marshal, your orders, whatever they may be, I will do. But which team are we going with? Are we going with the Chosen or, the Chosen?
Oh, you're going with the Chosen. Don't worry.
Oh, good. He seems very happy.
Nice.
Any other questions?
Did you decide which of the three methods you want to try or if we want to try a fourth one?
Well, I think if we're sending Zora in, essentially, is what we're saying.
That's what I think we're doing.
Especially if you're willing to give up the spear for that, then I think we're going to go with that plan. Zora's going to hit the line, attempt to draw a blighter out. The line will shift. We have a precious few minutes to get across through a tunnel of smoke and hopefully holding our breaths.
Yeah.
And then once we get over there, we take apart whatever siege weapon we have, secondary objective, pick up any intel that we can, tertiary objective. If we get our hands on that stupid horror, then we do.
Nice.
Awesome. Cool. So we're going to make an engagement roll and see how you end up. I'm going to give you a little cinematic open. Before they go on the field, Zora lines up reliquaries like shot glasses. And she's talking to the squad that's assigned to her. And she says, listen to me. And she says, once upon a time, the Legion was responsible for making ammunition that made the gods quake in fear. And she moves her hands across the reliquaries so that they're hidden. And she says, today, you will wield the flame of the gods themselves. And she like removes her hands and like the reliquaries are empty. All the finger bones and stuff in them are gone. But on the table is like exactly 3 bullets per soldier, right? And she it's like black shot, right? Like it's it's just like a line of ammunition. And she's like stand by my side, like face them. If your time comes, your time comes, but like challenge your glory, right? And I think that there's probably like a moment where you see her like walk out of the forest line and she's like holding the hilt, and then she like looks back through her unit, like towards where camp is, as if she's looking at someone else, and then like looks back and her hair goes like up and then red, then yellow, then white, and she like lifts her swords to the heavens and like booms out with this like massive voice. She just yells, "Maker, test your glory!" And just boom, there is a cascade of fire. It just burns right through that fog, straight into the middle of the enemy camp, like undead ignite everywhere. And all you hear is Zora laughing before like an army starts heading towards them. All right, let's make an engagement roll.
Nice. Let's do that thing.
Yeah. So, who else going on the mission?
I'm gonna send the 2 heavies. So Voyas and
double heavy mission.
Double heavy. Well, one of them's got the spear, and one of them's got the hammer. At least I'm assuming that's what the marshals or the quartermasters.
Yeah.
The only question is, do I send the sniper or not?
You can't send the sniper. It's got to be medic.
Yeah, never mind.
Well, I mean, you can replace one of them with a sniper. Yeah. The only question is, do you send the medic or not?
Yeah.
Alchemical medicine is real good here, but
real smart and knows alchemy.
Yeah. We'll send the medic too. All right. Is everybody Oswald? Yes. Commander, did you send an intel to give us foresight and info?
I don't think we're going to need it.
I think we're going to spend it. I don't think so. Yeah.
No?
No.
No,
right.
Okay.
It pains
is everyone
me,
a specialist or soldier? Yes.
Yes. First time we could ever say yes to that.
Right? Anybody distrust us? No. We've got the required specialists and equipment.
Pause. Not true. There is a special requirement for this mission. The quartermaster has to spend horses.
Can I spend my citrine oil? Since horses are all about moving us, is it fast movement? I don't have horses. Let's put this this way.
Oh, you might be a die down then.
Can I use the steam engines though?
Traditionally. So, this is tough for me because on one hand, you and I talked about how to exchange horses for this.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I'm being kind of a jerk if I'm saying like, no. But at the same time, these steam engines are designed for hauling goods, crossing distances without complaining, and being fuel efficient. They are not designed for like riding through enemy lines at breakneck speed.
So counterpoint, they will be in the field and subject to whatever complications arise from a 4 to 5. If that sates your dark heart.
No, I don't think Strush is looking for like, how do I make sure you're paying for it? I think he's looking at the fiction and saying, this doesn't actually make sense. Like the reason for horses, if I understand this, is that we want to be able to move fast. And these are not tools to help us move fast.
Yeah.
We just pour in more fuel though, right?
No, they're just not. That's just not the design.
Okay.
Okay. No, I think that's fine. We do not have horses. So is that -1 die for?
It's -1D. Now there are ways to countermand that, right? Like if you send an officer might be able to scrounge up just enough horses for a unit. If you have a scout with scrounge, they might be able to find a horse or two in the area. Like it's not enough to get the +1D for the engagement roll, but it is enough to give you fictional horses because without them, this is going to be a tough mission.
Yeah. Plus, there's also the note that if the Legion has an alchemist, it's at +1D. So
there you go.
Those 2 balance out.
Right.
So we're fine. So we're still at 2.
We're at 2.
Yep.
If you ask the question, is the quartermaster sending Blackshot? The answer is yes, because it's an assault mission.
Yep. All right.
So that's 3.
Anybody starting wounded? I believe not.
Nope. Everyone's healed up.
Are you spending religious supply?
I'm not.
Okay.
I would love to.
All right. So this is,
They're still there's a bunch of laborers like with like hedge clippers being like, we're working on it. It's harder than you'd think.
It's surprisingly hard to cut.
We're actually talking about this very comically, but I think there's some question about like which pieces of the body have the most influence, and there's some testing that you have to do. And like when you cut parts off, you can be like, this finger is useless. Like the divinity has retracted into a different part of the body. So like there's some like diagrams on walls and some rather macabre stuff going on, because you don't like, take a fingernail clipping and be like, it's good enough. You gotta actually like figure out the proportions.
Testing. It gets like put in some corrupted substance, and we see if it reacts. And then if it does, cool. It's so useful. If it just gets absorbed into the corrupted thing.
If it's too little, it might just burn up. And there's there's a whole protocol. Yeah, we're making jokes about hedge clippers, but there's actually like a little more to it.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, you're all weird.
Oh, I heard a blip, but I didn't see the thing. Hang on. I'm gonna.
Oh,
hey,
a 6.
Nice.
All right, cool. So we're gonna set the initial position, and we're just gonna roll some fortune dice.
But before we do that, Strauss, you had suggested several different methods that we could get stuff in play. Marshall, are you gonna stay with 2 heavies and the medic?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We're doing it on foot.
Yep.
But I do
pick your load.
Yeah. Who's playing who?
I'll take Rhea.
Okay.
Do you want to be Voyus, Sean? And John, you'll be Miltali?
I will be Mitali.
Sounds good. That means no one's playing our soldiers. It's okay.
Yeah, we can swap.
Yeah,
John had said he wanted to play a soldier, so let's do that. Pick one of the 5. Do you want a grenadier?
Sure. So we're bringing the second heavy as sort of like a fictional thing.
Yeah.
Got it. Cool.
The heavies work really well together because their builds are also synergized, but having a grenadier on hand is pretty dope. You may even consider using, I don't know, medics roll tight on this mission.
Yeah, this is hard. This is why ironically, I mean, normally we have, this is why I wish we did have 4 people right now, just so that we have somebody. I mean, we can still have the grenadier, just they're going to be making fortune rolls, right?
Yep.
Like it's not going to be up to us.
If they don't have a way to push, you can assist them, but on the other hand, with 2 heavies, you'll have more like bulwark for protection and stuff like that, which I think Voice does.
Yeah, but Voice has bulwark and 3 anchor. Yeah, let's stick with the original. I think that's good to stick with the original plan. Sorry.
Right. 2 heavies. Got it. Very
Right,
confusing.
So I am playing Mitali.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So are we seeing Mitali, Voice, and Rhea?
Yes.
Yeah. Who's in
Fantastic.
charge?
Not it.
Well, you are it. You have to choose who's in charge.
Oh,
You don't have to be in charge.
But
but
it's somebody. It doesn't even have to be any of the heavies. They're like the rookies could be in charge.
Yeah.
Extra
Yeah.
soldiers.
But none of us are playing the rookies. That would
Yeah,
be
probably should be someone's playing.
None of them are rookies. They're all soldiers.
Sorry, all the soldiers.
Yeah.
Sean, you're good at this.
Voice? Okay. Voice? Yeah, that's cool. Voice is, it's been a little while since he's been in the field. I mean, he did go on that scouting trip. It's notable that he had some corruption from a while back. And in the last, well, yeah, he has blight, yeah, but he also had some corruption that he picked up in play.
It's true.
And do you want to have a real quick scene of how that got eaten up? Because during R&R, Zoya eats it, which happened back then. Like, we don't know what that looks like yet. So do you want to describe what that looks like?
I think we did see it. She burns it out of people.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Although she may be kinder to him because he has suffered a lot at the hands of the gods. So I think there's maybe a moment where she actually, like, I don't know, she doesn't have a lot of compassion in some situations. So like there are some people that are just like, I'm in tremendous amounts of pain. She's like, cool, we're doing this in public.
Yeah.
But like for Voice, she might actually like give him some privacy, like do it in a tent or something like that. And essentially like knock him out before she does the thing.
I think he can handle it. Voice is
Oh, yeah?
else.
Oh yeah? Do you want to make like a fortune roll with your resolve? See how that goes?
Oh yeah, that should be fun. Let's try it. Not so great.
He thinks Zura's like, this will hurt, and you know, Voice is just like, bring it on. I can take it. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
I couldn't take it. I was
couldn't
wrong.
take
Oh no, you. I mean, like you'll survive it. It's just you scream like everybody does when they're lit on fire. And so this is one of those moments where it's like, yes, I can stick my hand in the fire and I'll just grip my teeth and it'll be totally fine. So it's like, oh, you don't understand how deep corruption goes.
I think that there's like a moment where Voice like comes out of the tent later and like there's like smoke wisping from his head and his hairs are kind of fringed and his lips look like they're almost a little burnt, like the people we found in the was it?
Yeah, where the big pale hound was eating their last breath.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was gonna actually say like I think this is the living God's kiss, right? Like she ignites your insides and then pulls the fire out of you and into her.
Yeah, she gives one hell of a hickey, is what I'm saying.
Nom nom nom.
Yeah, it's okay. Voice only has eyes for Matali, so there's no. Yeah, great. I love it. I'm ready to go.
All right. Cool. So yeah, sorry, there are people in chat discussing why Zora is the chosen. It's because my first home game used Shreya / nay Alana, if you remember that name. And my first online game, which a friend of mine ran, used the Horned One. So I'm running Zora because I'm used to. I finished campaigns start to finish with all of the other ones, so I wanted to make sure to get a Zora game in. That's the answer for why we have Zora. Anyway, let's keep rolling. Yeah. Okay. Let's do the do.
Controlled situation. Huzzah.
Yeah, controlled situation. Did you folks pick your load? Did you get your gear?
Oh no, do it.
Moment. Por favor.
We have Blackshot for free.
Yay.
I'm taking a reliquary.
Yeah, so am I.
I don't think there's a lot of actual other utility items that I feel like we need.
While you folks are doing that, continue doing your thing. I'm just going to talk to chat real quick. The other thing about this is I talked to all of my players and I collected the input, and you definitely like don't want to run a chosen that no one's into. So yeah, there were some votes for the Horned One. There were some votes for Shreya, but like Zora in the end, like I was the tiebreaker vote, and so I went with the one I haven't seen before. So yeah. We good, folks?
Yeah.
All right. So controlled situation. I think that you don't get any. I think it's gonna have to be like controlled. Well, let me ask this: what load is everyone in?
Heavy.
Oh, good. So I'm gonna tell you that it's controlled 0 effect. We're probably gonna have to do like a maneuver roll to try and get to the thing, because it would be controlled limited normally. The reason I would say a phrase like that is because you folks are at the start of this corridor that's lining up for you, right? And you need to get from here to the machinery. If you were on horses, we would do like a controlled grade or like controlled like standard at the very worst, right? Like you just get all the way to the machinery and we'll just deal with the defenses there. Go ahead, John.
I think what you're saying is you're in a control position. We're going to start action before you've crossed the gap.
Yes, the gap is the first challenge.
Our current circumstances, we're at, what'd you say? Like
controlled 0.
Controlled 0 effect, right?
Because it would have been controlled limited because you don't have horses, right? But then you have folks in heavy gear, which makes you slow.
Right. Absolutely.
So controlled 0 to start with.
But that assumes that we're going to do a maneuver, which we probably will. But
if you have a different plan, lay it
if
on.
we do a maneuver, we will be at 0 effect because we're in heavy load and we don't have horses.
That's correct. you could cleverly rig up a solution.
I'm assuming that we hear the boom as Zora hits the line.
Oh, everybody for miles sees the giant pillar of fire. Yeah.
Excellent. Cool.
Let me roll to see how they do. So Blighter fights as a threat 5 opponent. And Zora is threat 4 currently. Okay. Blighter gets 6. See how Zora does.
Okay.
Zora also gets 6. All right, cool. So let's put some ticks on here. This is your starting position. So I think there is, yeah, I think that in a fair fight with equal quantities of people on either side, even if it's 1v1, Zora might actually have the edge here. Blighter is not a kind of a beefy fighter that fights with strength or even to some extent valor. As a matter of fact, yeah, I think Blighter comes through that flame corridor, and when Zora's like, "Ha ha!" Blighter's like, "Cool story," and that's when Victoria fires some chemicals from inside the smoke straight at Zora. And so, like, you know, Zora's like using her sword to try and keep the chemicals at play, and like the troops are firing, and then you see like the armies coming out of the smoke. It's kind of a mess. Like, they're holding their own. Like five plus Zora should not be able to take on as many as they are, but they're hard pressed, right? Like it's not going super great. But you do see like occasional explosions of fire and like, you know, horrors being split in half, that kind of thing. So yeah. The Legion banner at Zora's position is flying high. So you folks are GG.
Nice.
Cool. So we got to move.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that there's like at least enough of a gap that we could hustle through.
Oh yeah, it's I mean, it's a tunnel, right? So like you're gonna want to move with it, right? Because like when Zora lays down the sword, the fog is like shifting, so you're gonna book through it, right? And you've got the undead are not psychic. I mean, they use senses, right? So like they're not gonna magically know what you're doing, so they don't just like spot this group going right through the tunnel, right? Like they just see some burnt fog head in that direction, right? So yeah, you folks are gonna have to book through it, and you're probably gonna have to like sort of like catch it before it's fully in alignment and sort of run forward with it as it's shifting so that you end up where you're trying to end up. It's tricky, right? Like, and you have to cover a lot of ground. We're talking like significant amount of hustle. So, and you're in heavy armor with heavy gear, heavy equipment. How are you doing this?
I have an idea, which is Rhea has Dr. Feelgood.
Yep.
And if you are also going heavy and you want to give us if you want to use medical supplies to do it, we could have potency in this physical action. What's that? Tonics. Yes. Oh, tonics. Right. I'm just looking at that. Yes. If we imbibe some tonics, that would give us potency in this thing, and then we could push and get up to regular and get up to standard effect. We could really basically just dig in, and one of us could push to
better living through alchemy.
Yeah. So that's an idea, is that we use that, or we try another way in.
So you're asking me to give you speed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kids, don't do drugs. Also, these drugs are totally going to help you.
There are no consequences for doing any of this.
Don't roll a 4 to 5.
Yeah, sure. We'll
I mean, I just throwing that out there. You also have chemist. I don't think the bandolier is on. I don't think the bandolier shows itself.
Yeah, it's under utility.
Oh, but it doesn't show what the actual different things you have can do.
No, it doesn't.
Which
I
are.
recommend you add them to your notes from the PDF handout. That's not helping.
I'll put them in there.
Okay.
Because there may also be some alchemical concoction that.
Yeah.
Owl sight, oral, see in the dark, neutralize most poison and toxins, hold your breath, rage venom.
Wait, what?
It's you know.
All right.
Okay. No big-
I just
Someone
put,
on Rage Venom could pull a sled full of people quite a distance. Rage Venom and Dr. Feelgood. I don't know how their heart's gonna do, but it's doable. This is how everybody at home, what you're listening to right now fictionally, is how you go from controlled zero to desperate great. I'm just saying. Like, oh, well, maybe we'll take some drugs. Well, it sounds like risky, maybe. You know, the risk being that you might get a taste.
Potency.
And it's like, but what if I just inject my veins with extra juice? It's like,
So the drugs grant potency on their own. So
that's true.
You would be looking at risky standard, I believe.
Yep, that is true.
If we were going to trade some of our position for effect.
Yeah.
Which I am 100% okay with. If we want to juice ourselves up and then dash across this field,
yeah,
and just hope.
It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
The other thing is if Miltali wanted to drag us all, Voyus could help.
He is a war machine that can perform near superhuman acts of strength on his own.
Yeah. So if Miltali so here's the position I'm in. So just out of character, right? So Miltali has 4 stress boxes left.
Mm-hmm.
But
if I assist,
1 trauma box left.
But if I assist, your push costs 1 less stress because Voyus is made to make Miltali better.
Well, that will make a very big difference.
Yes.
So
my point is, I think Voyus is like, you can do this. Like the rhino. The rhino that will pierce. You will pierce the way, and we will be behind you, and we will follow your lead.
Okay.
So I think
Tali doesn't back down from a challenge. So.
Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah. So the way backup works is I could just look at Tali. When you assist someone, their pushes only cost 1 stress. So I'm going to spend a stress.
Which is going to give you plus 1d.
Which is going to be plus 1d. And I'm going to do this, and it's going to be like the Rocky coach scene where I'm like, you got this. You got this. Like the old coach. Like, nothing can stop you. You are the rhino.
I got this. Oh.
Also, you made my beard beautiful.
I got you, bro. All right. Cool. So I'm going to push myself for 1. And you're going to give me assistance. So that's plus 2d. But also when I push myself, I gain, well, I can do an act of superhuman strength.
Yes.
So effectively, I think, does that count essentially as like a level of, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
A level of potency.
So does this mean we don't need the drugs?
I think we don't need the drugs.
Okay, then right? She puts them back away.
You're like, oh.
We'll save those for later.
I'm not turning the drugs down. I actually
We're just calling that plan like C.
If you're taking the push for a die, which just makes sense, I still think we only have 1 thing increasing our potency right now, which is.
Oh, then maybe I should take it as a level of effect.
Or just take the drugs.
Or take the drugs.
Well, taking the level of effect also mitigates scale. It means that you can make the roll for other people.
Yeah, that's my thought. Right. Is that you basically need to be able to carry us all along.
Yeah.
Yeah, Misha. I think it's happening.
Yeah,
I think the a little bit of pick me up.
Yeah, and I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna freaking Legolas Gimli this. If this is okay with you, I have this giant tower shield. I think it's big enough for both Rhea and I to be on, and we're gonna.
What are you doing with your squad?
The sled.
I also have a giant tower shield.
Yeah.
So unless what you're saying is. There are only 3 of us going on this mission. We're giving the squad to Zora, which is fine. I will adjust her scale and die rolls accordingly.
That will probably end up with rookies dead. Or sorry, with
soldiers.
No, because remember, what you gave her is a squad of soldiers with 2 people with mass grenades. I think that Blighter's like, what's up? I've got horrors. And their response is like, cool story. We made traps. Kaboom! You don't got horrors.
It may not be the worst thing. I don't think we're gonna.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with just the 3 of us doing this.
So it's a strike team.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. So then I guess I don't 100% need the scale, but I do need the drugs.
Yeah. So
right.
I think we've used all our goods and whatnot, and I think we're at controlled standard now.
I think so.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
John.
All right, so she
Now.
breaks a little capsule and like wafts it under your nose.
I think there's a bit where like maybe even in the darkness you can see Natalia's
Alchemy.
dilate, and
It changes your eyes to like black with like blue rims or something.
there's like veins that start to pulse out, and he's almost as if he gets bigger, which just doesn't even make any sense.
So he just puffs up, right? So that's why they call it getting swole. Yeah.
Yeah, getting swole. And then I think I'm gonna make a maneuver roll. Is that how that works? So I just pull them as hard as I can, as fast as I can to get across the field.
Yeah.
I just realized something.
What's
What happens when your medic gives drugs to an entire unit of soldiers?
It wasn't an entire unit.
Soldiers!
God, that was bad.
Yes!
Oh my god.
I approve of this.
Well, yes, I'm here for it. Go soldiers.
Awesome.
Continue. I'm sorry.
I keep thinking there's this scene in Highlander where Sean Connery is standing behind Christopher Lambert. He's standing beside Christopher Lambert, and he's like, "See the stag, be the stag," and they're like running on the beach. And like at first, Ramirez, at first Ramirez is faster, but eventually like he speeds up, and then he's just like running. He's just running incredibly fast. So, like, I'm running beside you until you get going, and then we just hop on the shield and let you try this. Like,
nice.
Well, it's like the bobsled thing,
Yeah.
Everybody.
I mean, you could even have like a travois or something set up. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's not that big a deal. It's like a tent.
2 bonus dice, is that right?
Yeah.
One from Sean. What's the other one from?
For my push.
Push.
If you choose to go for push, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Then I'm gonna roll my maneuver.
Sounds good.
Do it. Nice.
Skate.
So I think you just make it all the way. Yeah. It's something like 100-yard, maybe 150-yard dash. And
third die. I think
heavy metal and heavy armor.
I don't know if you've ever climbed mountains, but there's this thing where like you're at the base of the mountain and you're looking up and you're like, it's from here to the Netherlands going up there. But like when you walk for like an hour, you look back and it looks like you've come miles because you can see like the city that you came from and it's way the F over there and it's tiny. So like it's like that. Like there's just a point where you're like, and like when you stop and look back, it's just you see the like wafting like carry the corridor, away. But you realize that like you've probably crossed this at the speed of a horse, right? Like your heart is pounding. You've got that like cold, clammy skin from like, the anaphylaxis setting in, but you're like, yeah, I did the thing. I was the rhino. I was the stag. Yeah. So
nice.
Yeah. You cross it and basically like we're going to get to where things get interesting. I'm going to present you with the next obstacle, which is obviously it's guarded. Come on, folks. But like,
that's why we brought the heavies, dude.
Yeah, right. So the thing is that this is like roughly where everyone's like, where's the squad? There's like 20 of them and like 3 of you. What are you planning to do here exactly? So yeah, there's this moment where you come out of that, right? And like as you like let go of the straps and sort of like grab your weapons, you see that there's like a bunch of undead and some are like pouring liquid into this thing and they're like, oh, like they're really confused, right? Like they're just like, what? How are you not dead? Like they're just like, they're very confused for a hot second. And then you see like something snap into position and you see a couple of figures with beaked masks sort of like step out. And one of them in particular is making some hand signs. What are you folks planning to do? What's the plan here? Are you just like, don't give it time to react, charge in, smash, shield, go? Or are you like, okay, we deployed Rhea and then distracted? Like, what's the
No,
what's the next step?
It's we popped off this sled and never stopped running. This is, you said action movie scene. This is what we're doing. They are pouring something into this device. and we're gonna go wreck that device and blow them. Like,
are you planning to like put some out? Like, are we gonna flash back to where one of your alchemists is like, this is the vial of like, it's not black, it's not, or like they'll say like, this is citrine essence. You want to add it because it's gonna throw their mixture completely out of whack.
Yeah.
Like the city is going to go too high. It's going to eat through the walls. There's going to be a detonation, right? Like when the pressure shift differential happens. I mean, this thing is cooking, right? Like it's on fire. So
exactly. So I think that is 100%. Like, the alchemists, they sent us with this stuff. That was the intent, and it's go up and wreck this whole concoction before they get a chance to. Obviously they can react, but like the idea is to keep the momentum. It's like we don't stop, and I'm happy for him to do it if like Moltali is like catching his breath. But I think as a group, general,
does Voyus do that? Does Voyus actually step up, like come off the shield, sort of like grab it behind him, and as he comes like rolling up, he's like ready? Which one of you is carrying the spear?
Well, that's a good question.
The spear and Metali had the hammer, but I could be wrong.
Well, let's talk about that actually, because normally Metali has carried the hammer, but Metali started this mission with some stress, and I think it might make
the hammer
more
is
sense.
Stressful.
It might make more sense for Voyus to have it. Although Metali is really good at wreck, and with the hammer it would be even more. I'm open to it, but John, what do you think? You're the one who has to deal with the stress.
How much is the stress?
It's one.
It's the deal. So if you wield the hammer, you have to take a stress?
Yeah.
The way we described it previously is that when you pick it up, right, like the hammer itself, when it's sitting, it's basically vibrating, like almost like it's not wholly in this reality, or it's like shifting. And then when you pick it up, it starts transferring that to your hands and bones, and like your whole body like absorbs that, but the hammer becomes solid. So yeah. Cost 1 stress.
It costs 1 stress, gives +1d to rig and wreck rolls.
Oh man.
And I really want to. You can do a group wreck too. Like.
Yeah, I think we're gonna let you carry the hammer.
Okay, I'm gonna take the stress.
So do you know how the spear works?
No.
The spear is called Sunrender. No one's used it yet. When you use it, when you use the spear, you only know it by legend, and the legend says that it will strike through any armor. Like no armor can stop it, and that's kind of what we in the biz call bullshit. But what the team that fought the giant wolf monster that had it will tell you is that the spear somehow becomes like partially insubstantial. It's almost like the gold starts changing, and then it basically like bypasses defenses because it's like phasing. I'm using a sci-fi term because we're all familiar with it, right? But like them, what they'll say is like it's like it becomes like a glint of a shadow, and it just armor just doesn't stop it, right? And so like what they tell you is like, but when the beast was using it, like it was obvious that the spear was like damaging it. That's what was twisting it. And so what Strash is telling you via that is the way it works is if you'd like to make an attack with the spear's special property, you have to spend 2 corruption. You have to take 2 corruption, not spend.
Yeah.
But I think it also counts as a push when you do that, right? Am I remember correctly?
No, it counts as it sets your threat to threat 3 for a single attack.
Nice.
Because essentially what you're doing is bypassing people's capacity to like block it, right? So like even if you're using it on Render, he's in this like beefcake giant black armor, right? But like all of a sudden that's not a notable defense. They can't parry, they have to dodge. You still threat 5, but like that still makes you more dangerous, right?
Nice. Yeah, it's not easy to get threat 3. We got a siege weapon back there that's doing that. Cool. Yeah. So Voyus is going to take the lead on this then and say, I'm going to smash open the cauldron, and you drop in the alchemical concoctions.
Let's get it done.
And so
I have to warn you, this is a boiler under pressure. If you're going to smash it open, it's very dangerous.
Yeah. That's why I'm good at resisting desperate actions.
No problem. All good.
You're saying it's desperate because it's.
I am. I just didn't want you to be like, wait a second, why is this desperate? I mean, this thing is designed to be smashed. And I'm like, well, you can see that they have like stuff that they pour liquids into, and then they seal it, and then they like pull a thing, and it goes in. You know, it looks like mad science equipment. I mean,
right,
like,
exactly. Misha, do you want to have Rhea come with us in this? Or are you?
She sure shouldn't stay by herself.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Right.
It's not that I necessarily want you to be in this desperate situation, but I also don't want to leave you behind.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. She's basically staying as close to you as safely possible.
Yeah. Would you be willing to give us an assist then? Like with the alchemicals, since you know more about them and stuff?
I can absolutely do that.
Cool.
Nice.
All right, let's do a group rec. What? It's desperate what?
Well, before you can do a rec, I don't think you fictionally have a position. So this is where I tell you, like, cool. So before you do the rec, you all die because the giant pile of undead murders you.
Okay, so we're not. You said there were. This is what we stumbled onto. I didn't realize. Like we have to get there first.
Yeah, you have to get into a position for a wreck, right? Like between you and it, there are undead, there are crows, there are rotters, there's weird mummified looking bloated bodies. There's all sorts of stuff there, right? So like it's not as simple as it seems. Mm-hmm. Actually in particular, the crow that's giving orders and hand signs is dressed all in a much darker shade of black, and they have red ravens on their shoulder. Doesn't mean a lot to you, but you've seen them before a couple of times.
Have we seen all of these things before?
Nope. There's some weird mummified bodies. That's kind of new. You haven't fought Blighter in a long time.
Yeah.
Question: the medic doesn't have any like restriction on killing things, right?
Not undead.
Not undead. Killing people is a little more complicated because you are sworn to provide aid whenever possible and mercy when it is not. But these things, outside of the living spectrum.
Okay, just making sure of that.
Yeah.
There's no moral compunction. These things are monsters. They're designed to be monsters. This is not an ethical dilemma.
Yeah.
They are literally making chemical warfare weapons right here.
Yeah.
Be like, but is it really bad? No. They literally are planning to murder everybody in that town.
So I feel like what this is another maneuver roll, or what we do is we lock shield. We basically put our tower shields in front of us, and to cover missile fire and whatnot, and we charge through with Rhea in between us, and we charge through and push our way to the. I mean, they've seen us. There's no like, let's sneak around them, and fighting them seems suicidal.
Well, maybe. There are maybe 20 or so people here easily. Maybe just even slightly more, but not quite another category. The thing is that 3 of you count as basically, let's say scale 1. We're not going to count from 0 because I think we started scale 1 even though we're programmers. I remember having this argument.
1 or 2 is scale 0.
Oh, there is a scale 0 because we're programmers?
I think so. I think
who wrote this game?
I double checked.
You wrote this game. You do.
Yeah,
but it's a 464 page. So
I've actually got it here.
1 is 1 or 2 people.
Yeah.
So we are technically a small group because we're 3 to 5.
Yeah.
Or we are.
That is correct. Okay, so as a point of note, if you pop anchor, you become 1 scale category larger. If you both pop anchor, instead of being scale 2, you become scale 3.
Yeah.
So I would not say that it's suicidal, particularly if one of you is equivalent to threat 3.
I mean, this is ultimately like this is what the 2 of us could do, right?
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Cool. No, that's great. My original plan was to wreck it. My plan was to kill 2 birds, 1 stone, which is if we're here, let's blow this thing up and hide behind our shields while they all get plastered. But if they're in between us and it, then let's mow them down. I'm all for it. Voice is like, this is what the marshal.
You're in charge, right? So you can make a call here. And your orders are
my order is cut them down. And
it's the exact same fiction, right? Like Rhea between you, shields up, you both fighting at a much higher scale than you should be.
Yeah.
Weapons of the gods in your hands, like. All right.
Yeah.
I'm taking it. Voices leading the skirmish.
I'm gonna lead a skirmish. Yep.
Cool. Rhea, are you also in this skirmish? Oh, I think you're in this skirmish.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Probably.
Yeah. In order to get that 3, you need Rhea to actually do a thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
We're expecting Rhea to. All right. What's the position in effect? So I'm going to spend. I think we're both spending anchor.
Yep.
To get ourselves up to scale 3. So we're 1 scale lower than they are.
But if Mitali pushes, the threat differential becomes notable.
But are you going to use the spear?
Yeah, we're going to use the spear.
So that means we're threat higher than they are, I think.
Well, Mitali is threat 3. You're threat 2.
Yeah.
But I feel like Mitali counts as half of the effective fighting force, right?
Yeah,
because with both of your anchors, Rhea is helping, but not the mass.
Not the linchpin in that
Yeah.
equation. Definitely covering
important,
the odds.
I feel like
but
the
not quite as
mascot
cool.
sitting on your shoulder.
I like the idea that, like, do you have like a pistol or something?
Yeah, she has a pistol.
I like how, like, we're cutting down anything that comes close enough, but like we can't cover everything. There's 20.
Actually, I have a question. Rhea, did you take black shot?
I did because it was provided.
Yeah.
If you mark 1 black shot, that's the equivalent of you getting potency. So then you're kind of matching. You can say, like, look, potency is not threat, but we can count it kind of like threat. So maybe we can say that, I'm adding a thing, I'm firing some black shot, like that's fair. And I'm saying, yeah, you're threat 2 because you're a specialist, right? And you have fine gear, including a fine pistol, and but you have potency. So yeah, we can say that your group is deploying at threat 3 effectively.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. So that leaves us, I think, on even footing then. They've got 1 scale on us. We've got threat on them. Assuming they're threat 2. Is that?
Yeah, I'm just trying to decide the call. I'm not trying to be a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you're probably at risky limited. And I'm going to tell you what the limited is so that you understand that you're actually kind of getting what you want. I feel like your fighting strength will definitely get you to where you need to be so that Rhea can examine this thing and report in, or you can smash it, you can do whatever you want. But what you're not going to do is eliminate all of the undead in a single roll. Is that fair?
That's in my mind, that's exactly the effect.
So I feel like you're going to do damage to their scale unless you roll absolute BS. Yeah. Which is possible. But yeah, I think that's where I'm.
Right. But the important part of it, I mean, unless complications ensue, the important part of it is that we're going to kill it. We're going to destroy enough of them that we can make it to the.
Yep, absolutely.
That's the critical part for me. I'm totally cool.
I'm just saying that, like,
right.
So limited when I say things like, and now you have to fight your way out, it's clear why I'm saying that.
Yeah. No.
Cool. All right. So then we're all agreed.
Why we're going to blow this up. So
everybody's going to roll skirmish.
Everybody roll skirmish and
risky.
Yes.
Standard. Oh, sorry. That was fine, I guess.
I'm picking up.
So no stress from us.
Yep.
No whammy, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy.
There it is.
The final die.
Right.
So yeah, I think there's probably a moment even where I'm gonna put some cinematic moments on the table, right? So like I'm seeing this kind of like in slow-mo as that whole like Avengers assemble.
Yes,
right.
that's
like,
what I'm saying too.
Maybe like when they're team fighting and like they're getting together like back to back, facing every direction, right? So like I'm gonna say, hey, there's a moment where X happens. How do you overcome it? And I'm just gonna ask one of you to jump in, and then let's everybody take a turn at solving a problem.
I love it. Yeah.
So I'm gonna say there is a moment where one of those undead that's wrapped in gauze explodes, and it would normally murder people with horrifying acid. How do you overcome that? How do you stop that from happening to your group?
I will. Voyus like sees this thing and he doesn't know what it is, but he knows that it's not right. And there's a moment when Miltali Miltali is fighting and doesn't see it, and Voyus just puts his hand on Miltali's shoulder and looks at Rhea and then just drags them both down, and they just collectively their tower shields lock into place and they just hurtle. Like all three of them are underneath it. It's like the hobbits hiding under their cloaks, right? Like we just turtle as the explosion just passes over us.
And flick your shield, get that off while it's sizzling.
Exactly.
I love it. There's a moment when the black-clad crow raises its arm and fires off is about to fire off a flare to summon ye olde Coneface on top of you, but somebody takes it out from getting reinforcements. How does that happen?
I think that's the point where Rhea like just takes aim and fires at the crow's hand. That's holding the flare gun, and the flare doesn't so much go off. Well,
moreover, because it's black shot, right? Like green fire erupts from its hand, and it kind of like tries to put it out, and then just falls over as if like its strings are cut. Cool. And I'm gonna say there's a moment where the Rotters are like, and they roll barrels at you, releasing horrifying goop that will melt you all into the ground. How do you avoid that?
So I think there's a bit where Mitali like grabs the closest person, which I think he's going to let Voyus do his own jumping, but like grabs Rhea and like jumps over the barrels.
Like, are we Donkey Konging it?
Yeah, Donkey Konging it, like having Rhea in one arm, like landing, and then like a spear in the other.
Nice. Cool. So you're all at the pipes and everything. You've got your big shields out. There's still undead around you, but Rhea's got some room to work. You've got room to whirl and smash with your hammer. How do you want to handle this, folks? I heard something about a desperate wreck. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Voyus picks up the hammer. He looks at the thing and he's like, "Wait, there are smart people on this mission. Medic, you know how we could actually do this without blowing ourselves all to the gods?"
That sounds like a research roll to me.
That totally sounds like a research roll to me.
I mean, you can quote another action. I'm just saying.
That's what I was playing. I was like,
I was like,
looks at it really good, and compares it to the stuff that they've been doing back at base to make our own doodads.
Yeah, we've been doing all kinds of alchemical stuff in camp.
Risky standard. What are we talking about?
No, it's just it's a gathering from. Well, actually, no.
Actually, this could be a setup.
Yeah, I think it actually is. Yeah, let's do risky standard. And this is a setup action, right? Because it's going to make some things either less dangerous or more effective.
Yeah, and
but it might force the heavies to have to make some more skirmish rolls to keep you safe while you figure this out.
Right. Voyus is basically standing guard while you tell us, like, basically it's tell me which of these pipes that we can open without killing ourselves so we can inject those alchemicals. Or what do I have to smash?
Oh, that was a shit research roll.
So you always get some information. It's just that on a bad roll, it's either bad information or my favorite, unhelpful information. So I'm gonna tell you a thing. Yeah, you totally know how to do it. It's just that you have to climb to the top of this thing. And you can see the apparatus up there. It's got like one of those like little wheelie gigs. You have to open it, pour it in, close it, and then you do the latching and stuff like that. So like you can see it, but it requires somebody to scramble to the top of this apparatus and use the thing up there. This is good news.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Okay.
Takes a breath. Grabs the stuff that she's got to stuff down the thing and starts scrambling. Cover me.
Awesome. So I think we can do this one of two ways. I'm okay if the heavies want to just do a skirmish to keep Rhea safe.
Mm-hmm.
Or Rhea could do a maneuver roll and then the heavies could attempt to protect, but there's going to be a bunch of damage on the table. It's up to you folks, whichever way you want to do it. There is a setup here, right? Like Rhea did roll her dice, but what I'm saying is if your position's risky, it's going to be desperate because that's what a failure on a risky roll can end up in.
Yeah, right. So Ria's in a desperate situation. We could set her up by clearing the ground, by keep fighting. I am. I'm happy to keep fighting. I think that's what makes the most sense right now is for us to keep fighting them off so that Ria doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Ria doesn't have to scramble quite as fast. She's not in as much danger. We know the crows have crossbows, and we don't want her shot while she's up there trying to get this done. So I think we're going to try and skirmish to push them back.
Awesome. So now I ask you, are you using anchor?
Well, you said we reduced their in the last one. You said we reduced their scale, so they're down to scale 3, right?
Yep.
Okay.
But you're losing your black shot wielding gun fu doctor.
Yeah, true. If we both use anchor, we count as 10, so we're scale 3 as well.
That is correct.
So
and you will be able to annihilate most of the ground troops without too much trouble. But it does require using up the majority of your anchor resources. If you ever face that,
all of our anchor resources.
Yeah, if you see Senor Coneface, it's going to be a bad day.
Can I ask you this question? If this thing goes up, do we win?
We're going to call it mission success. Whether you survive or not is going to come down to some rolls.
Yeah. That's what I needed to hear.
You know what? Then I say we flip it around and leave it on Ria and we defend her.
Yep.
Okay.
So I am making a maneuver roll?
Correct.
Right.
And I will help you with the maneuver. Basically, your whole goal is to try and climb up there. So I'm gonna just be like do the whole like run up my shield. Like I'm gonna like hoist you up to get up there. So I'm gonna spend a stress. You get a bonus die as usual, but if you want to push, it only costs you 1 stress to push.
Yeah.
So you can,
All right.
Because of backup. I love this move. I love being able to be like, I push extra good.
So this is desperate as opposed to risky?
Correct. It is desperate standard. Don't forget to mark a tick of XP in prowess.
Yeah.
I believe, because you're maneuvering, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Ria's good at maneuvering. He's good at running. So yeah. Are you gonna push for the second extra?
Might as well. So I get 2 dice.
There it is.
The last die. The last die.
Nothing. It's basically like death, success. So yeah, I think it's that. I think that like you run up the shield right when you get like propelled halfway up, and she clutches on a thing, and you see her like look over and like flip around to grab like a railing, and as she does, like 3 freaking like crossbow bolts hit where she was. She like swings up onto the railing, and like one of the crows goes to like open up a canister, and black gas starts coming out of it, and it goes to throw it when all of a sudden it gets shield charged like 30 feet back into the mist. You know, like, and you see like Ria clamber to the top. Misha, like at the end, right? Like you're opening the thing up, you're gonna drop the thing in. Let's talk about this. So you're about to take this entire apparatus and make it go boom. I feel like there is some sort of role involved in not going boom with it. So like you could make it a maneuver roll to run away really, really fast. You could make a rig roll to like set up your chemicals in such a fashion that, you know, they're not going to go off immediately. Like you get the dosing just right. Like, I don't know. I do not decide the action. What I'm saying is, in the current scenario, as I'm seeing it, just dump chemicals in, set thing off, you're going to go off with this thing, and probably the heavies below you as well. So you folks tell me how you survive this thing just going nuclear.
I think it's
could be a research role to figure out the outcome. I don't know.
That's what I'm thinking research.
Tell me a story.
Yeah.
So she gets to the top, and she's looking at the chemicals, she's looking at the thing, and she sees, oh wait, there's runes that say what to do. So she's reading the runes. Sure.
Break glass in case of emergency. I think if you can manage to make it timing, that's great. But Voice is down there, and we're fighting off all of them, and he's very ready to say the moment you drop that thing and jump on one of us, and we're just gonna run out of here, and we can all just because we're all gonna have to haul away anyway.
Well, that's either way, yeah.
So I don't want to stop you from doing the research, but I'm definitely ready to lead a maneuver and have us all haul ass.
Yeah, maneuver's probably easier.
It's just different. It's not. You could do. Yeah, either is good, but.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she's gonna just drop it in, then do a slide down the thing back down to where they are. And
cool. Yeah, you grab a pipe. You just do like a fireman, whatever. Yeah, sure. That sounds fine. So let me get this. Let me just double check with you. Are you doing like a research roll to get the timing right? Is that what I heard, or are you doing like a maneuver roll and you're all just trying to move fast?
Can we do both?
Yes, I will set the research roll at risky, and that might make the maneuver desperate. Does that sound fair?
Yep.
If your research roll succeeds with a 6, the maneuver roll is probably going to be controlled. Well, actually, it'll probably still be risky, but it'll be risky great effect, and then we can talk about how to change that position.
All right, so risky standard for research.
Yep.
That's a 4.
Okay, so on a 4, there is a consequence. You do it. So you decipher the runes, you get the timing, you have enough time to get down and get with the heavies and coordinate. So you succeed. So your maneuver roll is going to mean that you are not in a desperate position. You're only in a risky position because you have to fight through some undead and get it far enough away from this thing that when it goes off, you're not caught in the blast radius, right?
Sure.
So instead of saying, okay, so this is a desperate last second maneuver, you fail, all of you are going to take at least level 4 harm death, right? So what I'm saying is this is a risky position. The worst that's going to happen is all of you are going to take level 3 harm incapacitated, right? So because I feel like explosion has scale. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think explosion has scale. Well, and hordes of undead attacking us have scale too. So I have a question, Josh.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Do we see Cone Face?
Oh yeah. You clocked. Cone Face is actually on a little bit of a podium because they made like a stage for him, but it's a raised dais, and it's not small. It's not the size of my computer desk. We're talking about something that's probably a little bit twice the size of my room in terms of floor space, because he needs to swing his arms below his arc of position in order to get the right wind up and throw.
He reminds me of a trebuchet.
He is.
This very
They're making organic trebuchets, no joke. They're making organically crafted shot put machines that are going to hurl barrels of death. And so that's Blighter's solution. And if you're like, wait a minute, why doesn't she just use catapults? The correct answer is so there's no logic to this. It's just Blighter. So anyway, they're making organic catapults because they're just wait a minute, we could build very complex engineering constructs, or we could just sew a bunch of people together and turn them into a weapon. Yeah, let's do that one. We're good.
Yeah, let's do that one. It takes less wood. How far away from us is he?
Not super far. You can see the stand. It's slightly elevated above the fog. It's kind of tough to see right now, but we're gonna say for cinematic reasons, you kind of see him painted, in the twilight.
But if we were running in the fog, he wouldn't be able to see us because we'd be below. He's above.
I think so, but we're gonna have to talk about how much corruption you're taking going through this thing and whether your lungs light on fire. So unless you have some method of not breathing.
We do. Our chemist has a method of not telling.
That's true. You do have
deep. So,
glug. Don't litter, but
So yeah. So I boy, I know that this is all happening very fast, but the question is, do we want to? Are we good with this, or do we want to go after Cone Face?
I'm hearing Sean being we have some anchor saved up. I can assist you. Do you want to push to murder?
Boy.
So yeah, Voice looks to Multali. We fought this thing once before. We dropped a building on it, and it came right back.
It wasn't the best of times at that point.
you now have a magic spear.
You are right. Is there? If we get close enough to it, but can it turn around? I imagine this is like we're having this conversation.
Yeah, I'm up there.
Well, he is like
Exactly. It's a bit of a flashback. I think it has to be.
There's like a check of a shield into an undead. Like, what about Code Face?
Yeah, I can turn. Yeah, this is. Of course, it could turn around, but it's slow, and it's not going to see us under the fog.
Right, but the explosion.
It's going to see the explosion, but not. But if we move fast, it won't see where we are.
It might even
So
be
pause. Right before the explosion happens, let's take a little look-see how the battle over there is happening.
Oh yeah. That's actually a very relevant.
This might change everything.
This might change things.
This changes everything.
Ooh, Zora's having a little bit of trouble. It's okay.
Right.
It's okay. Let's see how Blighter does.
But she does have the squad with her.
Yep. So they're keeping pace. So Blighter's like, I have an army. Zora's like, cool, I am an army.
Right.
We have a whole.
And I have grenades.
That's actually a key moment. There's probably like a moment where Blighter, standing amidst her corrupting fog with all of her troops streaming past her, is like, and then there's like a, and then you see her being like, and she runs into the fog.
Nice.
Cool.
So Zora's not looking great. She's gotten beat up.
Oh, come on, have faith. Test your glory.
She would want us to do it.
She would want us to do it. Okay, cool, awesome. I'm leading a maneuver.
Yeah.
Before we do that maneuver, can we have a flashback to our or just can we do it now to have?
That's what flashbacks are for. Anytime.
Yeah. I want that. Oh wait, I put it in the sheet. I want the deep. To let us hold our breath. And if you're down with that, Rhea. Awesome. I think you have 4 uses of your bandolier, so.
I do.
This
awesome.
is 3.
This is 3.
Cool. So I think there's probably. Can I do just like a little bit of a flashback?
Sure.
I think there's a moment where you're prepping for this mission and you're like, look, we're going to have to go on foot. We're probably going to end up in the fog. We want to save this chemical as long as we can because we only get 60 minutes of it, right? Or 30 minutes. How long does deep let you hold your breath?
A scene.
Okay. And so it's like, right. So it's like, it's not infinite and we don't have enough deep to like let horses drink. That's probably actually why you ended up on foot, right? And there's like a point where like, the all right Clockwork Master basically goes, I have a plan, and he hooks up, like feeds into your armor, right? So that you've got the like go juice time, you know.
Nice.
Glug 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 glug. Like aerosolizes it or some nonsense. All right. All right. All right.
We inhale deep and then we run towards Cone Face.
Yeah, we do. Let's do it.
Cone Face. Cool. So actually, Rhea did a setup action. Got a 4 to 5. You're a risky standard. If you would like, you can be, because deep changes the equation. You can just go diving into the fog.
Yeah.
I will be willing to put you at risky great fictionally because you can use elements like you no longer have to worry about your pathing out, right? Like you can just dive. So I can give you like a little bit of leeway here. So you can do like a risky great maneuver where the great effect is that it's going to put you in a decent position to assault Cone Face.
That's what I want. Yeah. That sounds great.
Good. Let's do group maneuver. Are you leading, boys?
Yeah, I'm leading.
Let's do it. Oh no, wait, I have to be a jerk. I'm so sorry.
What was that?
I forgot you're in heavy load. You're slow.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to say that you're only gonna be at risky standard. You could go desperate great, or you could go, risky standard, and then
desperate great.
All right. Is that the command?
That's the command.
All right, everybody, mark XP on your prowess. Let's go. Anyone pushing?
It fills up my track.
Nice.
You get a dot.
You get a die. You could put it in martial. You could put it in maneuver if you want.
That is true. Although theoretically, it is after the roll, but it's actually not written in the book. We specifically left it. So let's talk as a table. When you do a desperate action, you get the XP before or after.
It seems like it would be after. You did this desperate thing.
That sounds good. That's our table rule. Yeah. You at home can play however you like.
Yeah. I mean, much as I really want that die. Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
We're maneuvering, yeah?
Not a great
maneuver, desperate, great.
Desperate, great. And I would help people, but I can't because I'm in the action.
Or that.
Boyus is gonna bring it home.
Wow.
There is no stress here.
No three
goddamn stress
on the board. There are 3 6s on the board.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
I think.
So yeah, I think there's probably like a moment where we just see like a helmet rising from the fog, and Cone Face is like, barrel me, like it doesn't talk, obviously. It only makes this like noise, but it basically holds out a hand, and there's like 2 tiny rotters that are like, and they like have to like put the barrel in the thing's hand, and it just sort of like flings them into the fog as it like gets ready, and then it does the like rotating shot put position. And so yeah, it's completely distracted. You're absolutely in a controlled position right now. What do you folks want to do?
Right. Well, I think when it says what I want is it puts out its hand and says, barrel me, or and it like there's nothing there, and it turns, it's expecting these 2 rotters, and it's the 3 of us. And we are using
like bam, 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 fan the hammer.
We're using the hammer of Matiar, the spear of Sunrender, and Blackshot, and we're just
going to town on this.
We're just tearing the thing apart.
Yeah, cool. So let's start. I believe we start in it's really difficult for me to say these words, but I think it's actually a controlled skirmish.
Yeah.
It's where I put a clock on the table though.
Right.
So there is the thunderous explosion, right?
Yes.
Or is that timed for later? I don't know.
No, I assume.
Shattering kaboom.
Okay. I don't know if that changes at all anything, but like, and then we stab this dude. It's really great.
I like the explosion happening in the middle.
Yeah, I think there's actually a moment where it holds out its hand, and then night turns to day as like green fire erupts in a tornado to the heavens and obliterates that entire area of the battlefield. And I think its response is to go, and so like when it goes, that's when like the hammer of Matiar hits it on the side of the face.
I want to knock that cone thing right off its face.
And it's like sunk in. I know.
Even better.
Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, we're okay, Sean. I was trying to be kind, but there's gonna be a predator moment where like it's got like the open jaw and stuff.
Oh yeah.
All right, brace yourself. Cool. Yes, this is happening. You're backlit with a coruscate of green flame. You are shadows that are just ripping into this thing. Let's do a controlled skirmish. I'm going to put, I feel like your position is good enough and a crit is good enough. So no, I can't.
Might I ask
the 10 clock.
Is this possibly a wreck?
Yeah, I'll take a wreck.
It could be a wreck.
The reason I say that is because I don't know that we're dancing around and doing this in a subtle way. Like, we're descending upon it with tools of the gods, and there's an explosion, and then it's just us. So it may or may not be better for it to be a wreck, but like
mechanically it's virtually identical, but in terms of dice, but I'm not concerned in that regard. But like are we fighting this thing as you fight a person, like adjusting to what it's doing, trying to maneuver around it? Or are we just saying, you don't have good close range ability, we're inside you, we're just going to lay everything in to just tearing you apart? In which case, yeah, I think wreck does make sense.
Okay. In which case I'll use wreck.
Okay. I'm cool with that.
So we have some questions, right? So this thing has scale. It's pretty huge.
Yeah.
You got close, so I'm going to take away its scale, but it is threat 3. So Let's talk about how this goes. I mean, it's this massively strong combat.
Well, first of all, delicious corruption. As the radiant, what is it, sun render shines.
So it does a thing that you're gonna have trouble explaining in words, right? When you call on it, you feel this thing. Like when you pick it up, it's almost like there is a thing in the back of your head that becomes accessible, right? Like humans, we think like lift arm, right? Like, and then our arm moves, and we learn that motion. We learn to use our brains to command our limbs, right? Like, but all of a sudden, when you pick it up, it's like you've gained another arm and you know how to use it, right? And when you feel it, what you're actually doing is reaching somewhere outside you, and you're pulling yourself. So you realize that it's called Sunrender, but like most people are like, what does it do? It's like, well, it rends suns, I think. You're right. So I think that most people don't understand where its name comes from, right? Like it was named by Matiar when he handed the spear to his brother Gerholtz before Gerholtz was broken. And so most people are like, oh, it's just Matiar named it that. He clearly had a reason. They're like, it's gold. That's why. No, actually, it shifts you into like a world. Like you can almost see like the whole area that you're in starts growing lighter. And what you realize is that somehow what the spear is doing is it's transmuting your body so that you're partially light, which is what makes you move faster and phase, right? Like you're not you're pulling yourself into this like gold incandescence, right? And you can only hold it for so long, and you realize that once upon a time this was some sort of glorious flaming thing, much like Zora is, but now it's kind of fucked up and there's black veins and it's dark and corrupting, right? So like you're shifting your body partially into this realm and like changing your attenuation to the world, and correspondingly this corruption is passing through you and you're bringing it back when you phase shift into solid. So yeah, this is perfectly safe, you know, just take some corruption, that's fine.
It's just corruption. I don't care.
Yep.
It's just
It's not a problem
corruption.
until it's a problem.
I don't care.
It's all good.
Let Zora kiss you, it'll be fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. It's not fine. It's terrible. You shouldn't do it. Just deal with the corruption. It's okay. You see visions, you'll get over it. It'll haunt you for the rest of your life. It's fine. Better than that kiss.
Cool. So I'll become threat free, and
Yeah.
I am spinning an anchor.
All right.
That's my part of the equation.
All right. I think this is actually not going to be a group wreck. I think this is going to be Multali with Voyas assisting.
Okay.
Because you're going to be threat 3. You're spinning anchor. You're going to be scale 2. You're going to have equal threat, and you're going to increase your scale. If I help, then you can push yourself cheaper. With War Machine, you can reduce its threat.
Yep.
So you'll get potency. You'll get additional effect that way. Yeah. And you can push cheaper, and also you get potency because of Weapon Master. I think everything is I believe I'm calling this a setup, an assist action, which is I smash it in the face. I smash the cone off its face with the hammer of Matiar. That's how I assist you in fighting this thing, so it can reveal its thing.
Yeah. And we might even say this is Metalia's shining moment.
Oh. So
this is the most punny session we've had. It's amazing.
Why?
So
why?
Right.
That's a great quote. Corruption is a future Metali problem. Cone face is a current Metali problem.
Totally true.
John, are you gonna push?
Good comments, Chad.
Yeah, I'm definitely pushing, and you're giving me the die for assistance.
Yes, I am. So I think that means you get potency because of Weapon Master. You have extra effect on it because your threat is 3 and it drops down to 2 because of Weapon War Machine.
So it's 2 levels. And
it doesn't have scale, and because you spent anchor, you do have scale, so you have 3 levels of effect on it, I believe.
Yep. And then the question for me, I guess, is do I push for effect on top of all that? Because
were it controlled great to begin with, or controlled standard? What was our
controlled standard?
Controlled standard. All right. So you're at 5 ticks basically right now.
I mean, getting it to 6 is not bad.
It's a 6 clock?
It's a 10 clock.
Oh, it's a 10 clock.
It's a threat 3 monster.
Yeah.
It's 2 bites no matter what we do, unless I crit, which is unlikely. Okay, I think we're gonna just push for the die then.
Yeah.
All right. So it's this is a wreck.
Wreck it.
It doesn't have to be. It can be a skirmish since it's your action.
Oh, there is actually another way to do this. I could trade position for effect. Is it boring to maybe try and take this guy out in one roll?
No, it's not boring. This is the system. Play it to the max. You're lit by green fire. You're wielding a spear of the gods. Just tell me how you make it desperate. Yeah, this cone is gonna come off its face, and it's got like 4 heads that open, so like it screams from like the center of mass, and it's horrifying. How do you make this desperate? How do you push further? Do you like?
I think maybe he just draws on too much of this radiant power.
Okay, I'm okay with that. You're just like, yeah, I'm gonna Zora this up.
Yeah.
You say anything before you strike?
Wow. I feel like he would. Like maybe something like remember me.
Oh my god. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So with that in mind, if I push it to even to desperate, which I know is a lot of damage.
So so if you go to desperate and you don't push for effect, it would go to 7.
Yeah. Which would make it possible. So then I think that if I push for effect instead, then that means on a 4 to 5, I kill him. Does that make sense? Does that sound right?
Let's do it. Go historic here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, you're raising it up to 8 levels of effect at this point with the push.
Yeah. Right. So desperate, and I'm just gonna put standard because we all know that doesn't mean anything.
You can say extreme.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You might as well. It's in there. I know it doesn't fully even capture the effect.
Right.
Still sounds cool.
It does sound cool.
And you're getting 1 bonus die from
the assist.
Assist. Yeah.
And
Good
1
luck.
bonus die.
Can I add in? Can I add in 1 more bonus die because the Hammer of Matiara gives +1 bonus die on a wreck? If at some point you're holding the spear, I know you're gonna take the stress for this. Like I throw you the hammer and you're like fucking 2 fit. You're like
You're using the weapons of both the brothers.
Right.
Yeah, I'm in. That's Devil's bargain. You have to take the stress for holding the hammer, but I'm in.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll take the 1 extra stress.
Yeah.
We're just gonna see how this goes. So it's desperate, extreme, and +2 dice.
Yep. 1 for the assist, 1 for the hammer.
Let's see how it goes. Well, we got a 4 to 5.
Nice.
Awesome. Here's the good news. You kill the thing. Here's the bad news. The spear and the hammer drop to the ground and you're gone from reality.
Well, that's bad.
Yeah. I'd like to stop that.
Can we resist that?
I mean, John might be able to do some resolve resisting here, but you tell me how it goes.
Let's do a resist. So it's definitely a resolve resist. I also have a
magic. That's how you made it desperate.
Yeah.
You're trying to hold the energy of both the brothers at the same time and use it to do what is effectively a divine strike.
Yeah.
Right. The strike works.
You just turn into that gold light and you're done.
Yeah. I think it's a resolve resist. I'm going to spend the reliquary on top of that.
Beautiful. I see what you're doing here.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I would like to point out that Miltali is not very pious. That's always been a thing. He's always been like believes in his
Weapons.
Believes in his weapons, but believes in himself as a person or more than the gods, whatnot. And Voyus knows this. And I would like to, if there's a question of degree here, if you're like, well, this will only do it partially, I can have Bulwark. I can spend Anchor as special armor to against consequences your squad you're defending. At some point, the defense is like looking into Motali's eyes as he's like shimmering away and like bringing him back to like the land of the living, right? Like this is me, this is our bond, this is how our closeness, and like, you know, believe in yourself. Fuck the gods.
So,
Yeah,
so,
right.
so you literally grasp him and you're anchoring him to reality.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Vitali, I wow. Yeah. I think that's amazing. So that's a cool scene. Let me tell you the rules, and we're gonna have to talk about the rules.
Yeah.
Bulwark technically helps mitigate any harm to a person that this guy is protecting. Now usually this is to what?
I think, at least on the sheet it says consequence. I don't remember.
This is a consequence. You turn into light as a consequence.
Yeah,
right?
I'm just saying it's not harm. I'm just saying I think Bulwark works, against consequences. So
okay, so it's any consequence, it's fine. I think this is going to get you to the point where you don't die, but I think that your resolve resist is going to get you to the point where you stabilize and come back without. So I was thinking of this as the equivalent of level 4 harm. You get a couple of words to say goodbye and then you die. And then you're like, no, I'd like to test it down to 3. I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to let that Bulwark drop it down another 2. Because usually it just mitigates the consequence. You're like, these rookies die. And you're like, no, they don't.
Yeah.
But I think at this point it's a little bit weird. So I think this resolve resist is necessary to like bring you back wholly. But I think that if you want to be like a little fucked up and then you count on Zora fixing it later, we can role play through that. And you can just leave it in Sean's hands and be like, no, I don't want to make this roll. It's fine. Or you could just be like, no, I'm making this roll. I'm coming back. I'm coming back all the way. I'm just gonna be a little glowy, but it's fine.
If Matali makes this roll, and I'm gonna be real about this, he has 1 stress left, so it may kill him.
How many traumas does he have?
He has 1.
Oh, this will kill him.
Yeah.
So I think this is one of those moments of like, he could get away with a 5 or a 6 on his resistance roll.
Can I, since I'm doing Bulwark, can I protect? Can I take this?
That's the plausible thing. Like maybe you can.
Okay, Sean. How do you protect him from phasing out? Your Bulwark story was pretty good. Are you just saying that you're going to try and siphon off some of the gold?
So what happened? Yeah, I think what happens is when you start phasing out, you see the ghosts that are haunting me. Voyus has visions of these that like are haunting him. Like they're maybe not real, they're maybe not undead, but they're like the ghosts of like Voyus's past. And I'm like,
they were real.
Yeah, they were real. And he's gonna like when he sees you start to shimmer, he remembers like the ghost of haunted.
You remember the silver. You remember the silver from the moon.
I remember the silver from the moon, and I basically grab the spear and pull it out of you because like I know about things that are not of this world, and I'm gonna yank the spear out of his hand and before I pull him away. And
holy shit, this epic scene. All right, Sean, protect.
All right.
Not attack. Sean, protect.
So because I have backup, when you protect a squad mate, you get +1d.
Oh, you cheesy mofo. Good job.
Because this is a desperate action, I get and I'm bold, I get +1d to resist desperate actions.
You do.
So I think it's a resolve though.
And do you want to spend a reliquary for that +1d?
I definitely do.
I have a reliquary. Yeah, there you go.
That's +3d, and I'm doing resolve, which is my worst, but I'll take it.
It is the do not get magicked, my son. Resist.
Yeah. Backup, bold, resolve, and reliquary.
That's pretty dope.
Oh, there it is.
Oh. Zero stress.
We're brothers. We're meant for this.
I'm having that hand clasp from Predator in my head.
We in this battle we've traded weapons. By the end, you're holding the hammer, I'm holding the spear.
Right.
Sort of semi-translucent, and then we come back to
Can I ask? Could there be like just a moment where instead of seeing Matali and Voyus, we see the 2 brothers?
Matiar and Gerholtz, yes, the gods of the twin gods of Aldermark.
Yeah.
It was like there's just like a plot because like reality's kind of weird right now, and like
the only person that can see this is Rhea.
And Rhea's like
So there's this like total bromance moment going on right now, But you realize that you folks just lit up this battlefield and you're about to get swarmed. Rhea, what do you do here?
Yeah, how are you going to save our lives? Because we're just clearly in Smoochy Town here, and like,
you're making moon eyes. You're just like, my brother, you know. It's like, I feel the strength of the gods. And Rhea's just like,
this isn't a bromance. This is a straight up romance.
Sure,
it
yeah.
is. No, there's love here. Yeah, it's not masked as anything else. But I still think it's up to Rhea to figure out how to get us the heck out of here. Because I'm not. Voice is definitely not thinking about that.
So the thing went down. There's goo. I think so. The things have been like getting ready for those barrels. So I think she like kicks one, so that it goes rolling down the hill, and then like fires into it so that it explodes.
Oh wow.
Okay. Yeah, I'm down with that. It'll fucking, because this stuff is just caustic, right? Like we're not even talking about like undead versus people. We're talking about like xenomorph blood, right? Like it's absolutely it'll just annihilate anything in that area. All right, cool. So do you want to do like a shoot setup action to make it easier for you folks to like head towards the walls? What is the plan after you do that? What's the plan after that? Is it just
like
run?
hell?
Okay, I'm down with that.
I think if you grab us and be like, "Run, you fools!"
Yeah. There will be a kick, shoot, go, boys, go.
Right.
Yeah. So did somebody bring a flare gun?
Yeah,
Yes.
we all have flare guns, I think.
Then it might be worthwhile to do like a final roll to see how.
Should we just call this final roll a maneuver as we run, or do you want to do a shoot to set that up? Yeah.
6 1 half dozen the other. I just took shoot to spend my
Oh,
prowess
cool.
point,
Nice.
so I
Very
actually now have a point of shoot.
And I believe that people can assist if necessary.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I want to assist because that's what Vias is all about. He's real. I think. Do you like snap us out of it? Do you go like? Yeah. Okay.
Hey boys, kick.
Yeah.
Dang, dang, time to go.
Is Rhea someone? Jen, do you think that Rhea is someone who would feel like calmed by?
Yeah, you heard it too, Misha. That's right. I'm still laughing.
Sorry, Misha. Jen plays Rhea normally.
I know
It is true. That's why it was funny, and we didn't.
I'm apparently
sorry.
properly handling her.
You're playing Rhea so well, Misha, that you're channeling Jen.
Misha, do you think Rhea is someone who would be calmed by having like Voyas put his hand on her shoulder, like, "You got this"? Like, would that be like a calming thing in this moment, or would that be like, "God damn it, don't like get my way, old man"?
I don't think she would necessarily find it particularly calming, probably.
Okay. All right.
She would like for you to get your asses in gear.
Well, I'm trying to figure out how to
That
help
she
you
would
shoot
find a lot
this
more
thing.
calming.
You can assist just by breaking out of your trance. Like
Yeah. Or
That
by,
makes
hey,
sense.
helping me shove this thing down the thing.
Yeah. If that totally makes sense. Yeah.
Give me a hand here.
Yeah. Cool. I think
Perfect assist.
yeah, I think Voyas accidentally just heaves and hauls it. So I'm gonna spend the stress for the assist, and if you want to push, it only costs you 1 stress.
All right. This is what, risky? Controlled?
I feel like it's controlled. You might end up in a risky position if it doesn't go well,
Yeah.
but it's
I mean, if you miss, right, like it's just a barrel rolling. It's not like
It's not like the world ends. 6.
Rhea's not missing today.
It's fine.
nah.
There's a detonation, and there is caustic goo, a whole bunch of undead die, including probably one horror that was running in to support Coneface. So yeah, I think there's a big green explosion, and it's time to go. Do you folks fire off the
Yeah.
All good. And then like towards Callisto, please open the doors.
I kind of feel like the giant pillar of fire that we sent into the air should have been the all good, but agreed.
All right, so let me make one final roll for the conflict on the battlefield, and let's see how it resolves. Oof, Zora puts 2 on. Let's see how oh no! Blighter just fails. Zora's coming back with everybody. Oh man.
All them dice, and Blighter couldn't finish her off. I was like,
that's
shock.
To be fair, we have distracted her.
Oh yeah.
That's what Blighter's gonna claim.
That doesn't matter actually.
I think that's actually probably somewhat true, although it's definitely what she puts in her report. But yeah, I think that's definitely somewhat true. She's probably moving over to the giant pillar of green fire, trying to see what she can salvage from it. It's a giant pillar of green fire, but probably ordering people around, trying to stop it from just incinerating that half of the battlefield or whatever. And yeah, I think without Blighter's assistance, even with alchemicals and horrors and all sorts of things, I think they're no match for Zora. And I think that there's probably, so if someone's like, even with all those dice, Blighter couldn't do it, and Zora's just like, yeah, that's why you test your glory.
There's a reason why this is a glory mission.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, I think there's one maneuver roll between you and the walls. You folks ready?
Yeah.
Risky standard.
Risky standard. Rhea, do you want to? Misha, do you want to lead it, or do you want Boyce to lead it?
I have 3 stress left, so I could probably
want to lead it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, you said risky standard?
Yeah. All right, let's all do maneuver. Okay.
I do not take stress for myself. We succeed.
Well.
Wait.
I accidentally. It's fine. I rolled the right number of dice. I clicked shoot instead of maneuver.
You do take the 6. Okay. So,
yes. Yeah.
Right.
It should
the difference is that you have maneuver, not shoot. So you actually take the higher die instead of the lower die, which is what is this gravy. All right.
1 stress from Natali.
Yep.
All right.
I think that's it. That's a 6. So I think that there's probably a moment where something comes out of the fog and it's horrible. And I'm gonna have to ask Boyce, how do you keep the troops safe here?
I think it's another one of those horrors, and they're backed up by a couple crows, and it looks like we're gonna be out.
Yeah, like the thing comes out and a crow jumps on its shoulder and then off with like 2 crossbows.
Exactly, and it looks like more things are kind of like forming in the mist, and Voice is just like holds like his gaze at them. He's just sort of staring at them dead eye. There's like a pause for just a moment before they charge, and then he just reaches out, and this steam engine comes rolling along behind him, and he just hops onto it, and we like just plow over, and a couple rotters just get rolled over, and we're
cool moment where you're like fighting them from the top of the steam engine.
Exactly, we're just battering them away.
Somewhere inside, there's a cackling 70-year-old man.
Yeah, and some crossbow bolt like goes into Boyce's shield, and yeah, but we
all right, yeah,
we roll through.
Squeaka, 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 squeaka through the gates. Yeah. All right. I think that's the mission. Let's do XP.
Excellent.
So
that was kind of epic, you folks.
Yeah, it was.
It's pretty slick.
I believe this is what we call a glory assault mission for those of you at home.
Yeah.
All right, Sean, lead us off.
All right. Let me pull up the sheet on the screen so everyone can see Mr. Karyevich. All right. You survived the mission. 1. Boom. Got it. You helped your squad through might or fortitude. So much might and fortitude, really, more than anything. You played into your heritage or traumas. Yes, because of being bold and things like that, but also like I think Voyas as being loyal and connected is also a big part of the character and his experience. Per highest tier threat of opponent face. I think that's 3, right?
5.
Is it 5? Are we counting?
That is Blighter.
Nice. I'll take it.
Usually there can be some argument, like, this is where I say, like, yes, but Blighter wasn't really on your half of the battlefield. I don't know that you were really under
Josh
threat.
never lets me get away with it, so he's not getting away with it today.
Yeah. Nice.
It's okay. Just for those of you at home, remember this. You get to put Blighter on the field. It doesn't matter if they get 2 more XP. Blighter is awesome! She gets to go, mwah! It's good.
All
There was a
right.
bit. I mean, she might have rolled a 6 on that last roll. Could have been.
Yeah, could have been bad. She could have
Yeah.
rolled a crit. Then we would have the question of, so how do you rescue Zora?
Right.
Next time on A Band of Blades, 3 soldiers try to fight off an army while dragging their chosen home.
Taking
Saving chosen Zora.
actually I'm not gonna put it in rouse to resolve. Taking hardened and getting 2 more stress boxes.
It's a strong choice, particularly if you've got the support power.
Yeah. I'm liking that a lot. Cool. That was Voyus. Who's up next, Marshall?
All right.
Although, optionally, Sean, for the perfect build, lead from the front. I see the face now. Sorry, I'm evil. Please continue. Who's next?
Oh, it's so good. I mean, it's what I did with Zionova. Yeah, I love that move. It's a great one.
You were executing it a lot fictionally tonight, and I feel like in particular with the whole, like, can the 3 of us gain some scale? It's very much what you were fictionally demonstrating. It's like, no, this is how we scale. Right?
Well, question. My big thing with Voice this is a implementation question. So my big thing with Voice is I want him as many times as possible to be able to set people up. So if he's doing in a sit, he can't be leading a group action. If
it is true, but there are some times when you're like, I've got 3 skirmish, you've got 3 skirmish, both of us are going to blow anchor. This is a group action. Let's go.
Yeah,
right.
That happens
so,
too.
like, in those times, it's like, did you roll a 6? Well, I rolled a 6 because we had 3 6s on the table. Like.
Yep.
At that point, you can conjoin 6s and do all sorts of stuff. It's just a thought. You might be like, just set up people more, and that's okay because it seems like you're enjoying that part of it too. Yeah, but if I'm playing Devil's Designer, I'm just gonna put the plug in your ear.
I know the move. It's a damn good one. I like it a lot. So it is now there.
Who else is who's next?
John, you want to go ahead and level up Metallic?
Yeah, so survive the mission, help the squad through might or fortitude. I think those are fairly straightforward.
Yeah.
Of course, 5 for Blighter. The question is heritage or traumas. He has a trauma of cold, and his heritage is warm and stoic. I think the only time the warm really would have come up is in his relation, like in his interactions with Voyus.
This isn't technically a heritage trait. It's the lack of a heritage trait, but it's a very important heritage trait for.
He's not pious.
For Motali is that he's like, fuck the gods. It's my and that's what I was trying to draw on was like his like sense of self versus his it's meaningful that he abstained from pious in that case, and I think it was meaningful in the thing that kept him in this world,
like real. Okay, cool. So that's 8 XP, I think. And he has 4 abilities right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think he can still have 1 more.
You can have 2 more. You can have 6.
Excellent. I'm really leaning towards actually just giving him the extra box of trauma.
John knows the cap.
You only have 6 abilities?
Yep.
You can have up to 6 abilities.
I have 6 abilities.
Yep.
Then you cannot gain a new one, but you can gain actions until you have.
Cool.
So just don't put any XP in the playbook advancement. Just put it all in.
Yeah, and it's fine.
Okay.
The alternative is to give him hardened, which would keep him from trauma.
That's strong, especially for somebody that functions off of pushes.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're good. We'll go with that, and then if Jay wants to change it, he can change it.
Okay.
All right. And then Rhea. She survived. Yay! Helped your squad through medical knowledge or emotional comfort.
Medicine definitely came up.
Yeah, medicine definitely happened.
I mean, and I would also say maybe not emotional comfort, but emotional aid of guys.
Hey, kiss later. Let's go.
Kiss later, fight now.
Heritage or traumas. She doesn't have any traumas, but no. And +5, so 7.
Yeah. What do you want? What ability do you want to raise?
I know, that's what I'm thinking.
Action.
Jesus.
I also need to take a quick bathroom break, so
Sure. Well, if you want to do that, that's cool, but we're also going to wrap very soon, I'm sure.
Okay.
She uses research a lot.
Yeah.
And doctor. No, maybe not doctor as much. I could see any of the things that she's good at, like maneuver, doctor, consort, discipline. Like having a 3 in something is great.
Yeah. We'll give her the research. And then that gives me 1 more dot somewhere else.
Jen uses research like a laser scalpel all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
So, so she now has a 3 in research.
Nice.
That's pretty mighty.
And we'll give her.
The quartermaster is going to send her on every single long-term project that involves anything. How do we do this? I don't know. Send the doctor on it.
Ria gets more quartermaster duty.
Yeah, exactly.
Dot and prowess. Because
Cool.
she did actually use maneuver and shoot.
Yeah.
Skirmish.
And skirmish. She did it all. I mean, and she was next to a wreck. It was
I was right next to a wreck.
very cool. All right, let's do mission rewards and penalties.
You gain 3 morale, and you gain a glory, and you gain
Time.
yes, but you are going to lose a time, and then you're going to gain a time when time passes. So I'm just not going to change the clock, and that's
Cool.
fine.
Yeah. So the glory unfortunately doesn't do anything. We're already at 10, but it's still cool.
Glory gives you a tick of glory. Eventually, Zora.
Sorry, not glory. Morale.
Morale.
Yeah.
Yes. Morale does nothing,
But I mean, I'm okay being capped out at 10 morale, and
Oh no, not that.
and we're in the fort.
Yes.
that's correct.
Let's go.
I think there's probably a shot where everybody is celebrating, and there are beers, and Zora does this trick where she pours clear water into something and then lights it on fire, and it's booze. And she drinks with the victors, right? Like that's one of her traits. Like she's like, yes. And she looks at Natalia and she's like, that's how you seize it. And like everyone's having a blast until you realize you're inside a fort and there's no way out.
Yeah. I love how there's like
session.
it's like the cheering group of people, and then like the camera just like pans up until over the wall you see like an army of undead. Just
yeah.
Like,
but they're slowed for a day at least.
I think there's probably like a shot inside Blighter's tent where this like gas mask lady flanked by some crows in that black garb with the red ravens on their shoulders says, what do you want us to do, my lady? And she says it like a little muffled behind a gas mask, and Blighter just says, get me more bodies. And that's going to be seen.
Yeah, love it. Love it.
By the way, I'd like to point this out to Sean because Sean's going to be in charge of doing quartermaster reactions before we get to do more missions inside Callisto. But there's a special rule for Fort Callisto.
Ooh, tell me.
It's not a good one. It's a bad one.
Damn it. Don't
it's not that bad though.
Okay.
It's a problem only a quartermaster can solve though, so that's why I'm telling you ahead of time so you can plan your missions plan your actions accordingly.
Thank you.
And the actions are as the special rule is. Here we go. If you do not acquire a route out of the fort, possibly from some smugglers. That's the suggestion in the book, just in case everyone's like, how the hell are you getting a route? But you can come up with your own explanation. But if you do not acquire, and I'm putting emphasis on the phrase acquire,
using the acquire asset campaign,
a route out of the fort, missions outside the fort are at -1d to engagement rolls, and the Legion cannot advance.
Got it. The only way we get out of here, and the only way we don't have a disadvantage, is if I spend a campaign action to acquire a route out of here. Got it.
There you go.
I like it. I'm about it. Well, that will be a problem for next time, unless we're trying to squeeze in campaign actions. I don't
No,
know.
we can do campaign actions at the start of next session. I just wanted to give you the heads up so you can plan, because
Thank you.
I know I'm going to be getting messages from you throughout the week.
Can you tell me the asset rating of 2? Okay. And are there any?
I'm almost positive. I would be. I'm flipping pages here, but I'm pretty sure it's 2. So here's the thing. I'm gonna read a little thing. It says within the fort, Commander Jonicus, a grizzled Aldermani vet, has set up a crisp defense. Now, this Aldermark hero holds his position knowing that this is a last stand, an attempt to divide the forces of the undead and to slow them from their eastern press long enough for the eastern kingdoms to mount a response. There are military units from many nations and areas, some having come here hoping to recuperate, some seeking a place strong enough to withstand the undead advance. Jonicus has kept the peace between everyone, but many unit leaders have strong opinions on how the defense and resource allocations must be handled. The fort is surprisingly well equipped. Most assets can be found here, and there is no shortage of missions that need doing. A fair number of civilians are here as well, trapped in the fort with no escape in sight.
Nice.
All right. Shall we say our goodbyes or outros?
I think so. That sounds good. I am Sean. I use he, him pronouns. I can be found everywhere at Sean Nittner. I am very excited. This book is like a thing now. It comes out August 1st, but if you order it, its shipping is starting now, so that you'll hopefully get it before the 1st. So this game that we're getting close. We're 3 locations, or 2 more locations till Skydagger. I'm very excited about it, and I'm super stoked that it's a thing. It's such a gorgeous, beautiful thing. So that's super cool. I'm also excited that I'm going to be going to Gen Con in a couple weeks, and I'll be running it there. So if you're at Gen Con, come to Games on Demand. This is one of the games I'm going to have on offer. So yeah. How about you, Misha?
Hi, I'm Misha B. She, her. I am not going to Gen Con because that's a lot of people.
It is.
I don't like people that much. At least not in large quantities.
600,000 people is a little bit different than a few close friends coming over to your house for gaming.
Yeah, like I'm okay with like small, like 1,000, 2,000. That's about where I stop being comfortable. So have fun at Gen Con. Good luck, everybody. Lots of cool Emmy nominations. Not Emmy. Emmy nominations. Yes,
close enough.
Nominations.
Also,
BGA awards. The Groundbreaker awards to the IGDN. So hopefully, award season will come and go, and people will be happy when it's all said and done. How about you, John?
Yeah, I'm John Lebuckle. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm also not going to Gen Con. I couldn't put it together this year, but if you are going to Gen Con and you need anything from me, you're going to be running a game of Band of Blades versus Cannibal, just let me know, and I'll hook you up. Yeah, how about you, Strash?
Hey, I'm Strash, at StrashA on Twitters. I use he, him pronouns, and if you want this book, you should order it, like Sean said. Super cool. But let's not talk about this book, because though that book is super awesome, there's all sorts of other stuff happening. I'm also not going to Gen Con, but I will be making games instead. What's going to be happening that's super cool and I'm excited about is 2 things that I want to announce. The first one is related to Band of Blades, which is that we're going to get custom-made sheets by Jakob and Tim Denis, who made the Blades sheets. They're doing official sheets for this game as well. It's going to get a total makeover. You're going to get all sorts of secondary sheets for the roles and stuff like that. I have seen some of the artwork, and it has absolutely blown me away. You make rolls for like stuff, and there's like blood spatters on snow and like flapping banners, and oh wow, they did some work. So that's going to be exciting. That's going to be shown up here in the not too distant future, probably once the book hits the shelves. Around that time, we'll also probably see a release of the new sheets. In addition to that, there's going to be a website. The Off Guard Games website is going to launch. So you should totally follow us at Off Guard Games, which is on Twitter, or offguardgames.com right now just has a placeholder, but we're going to have a full website going up with articles and links to all the stuff that you need. And we'll probably have, I don't know, maybe we'll come up with something fancy to add to the website right after it launches, just sort of like in celebration to give to all our fans that have supported us this whole time, because we do a weird model where we put a PDF out, and because people buy the PDF, we're actually able to pay for making a book. And then when we print the book, everyone still supports us, and we love you all because you're all super awesome. But that is something I'm excited about.
I wanna, since Josh, you mentioned it, I almost wanna tease this to show people, everybody, this is what the new sheet, this isn't the rollers because those haven't been integrated yet, but this is what the new sheets look like. Only stream can see it, sorry. But just point out that this is a rookie sheet. You know, you got your load down here, just like it does on the actual PDFs. It's all styled for Band of Blades. There's Breaker. There's the Marshals sheet where they get to write in everybody's names and their traits and all the stuff. The Quartermaster and the Commander each have their own custom character sheets. It is very cool. When you go to open up, when you go to select what you are, you can choose what role you have or what you're doing. It's wicked cool, this thing that's getting made. So just thought I'd tease that because it's very close to being done.
That's a darn fine tease. We did not rehearse this, but I'm very grateful that you did that, Sean, because it's pretty sweet. So yeah, that's that for me. And are we playing next week? I think we're playing next week, and then we're taking a skip for Gen Con week because a couple of people are going to be out.
I believe that is correct. Yes.
All right, cool. So tune back in next week, same Legion time, same Legion channel. And hopefully we will see you again as we wrap up this campaign. So
all right,
thanks all, and smooth out.